We're at Maui Alpaca in Pukalani, Hawaii, and we are going to take a tour of the alpaca farm today.
Hi guys, my name's Padma and we're here at Maui Alpaca and we're going to do our little tour today talking about the alpacas and the bunnies, and we have a little fiber production, so lots of fun.
We're excited because we get kind of our own private tour.
Private tour!
Which is fun.
Yeah.
So you do these tours, like how many days a week do you have them?
365.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we can go up to like 5 or 6 tours a day. But it really differs on the season. You know, tourism's a big thing here in Hawaii. So anytime there's a break in school, we're booked. We're totally packed. Yeah.
They're back in school, I think, already.
Yeah, that's why it's slowed down a tiny bit.
Yeah. Well, what do we want to start with?
Well, we're going to start with hanging out with our girls today.
Okay.
So we have 7 girls in this pasture, and our baby boy, he is 2 months old. So he's our cria, right? That's what we call baby alpacas. So we're gonna go in there. This is a little loud.
Okay.
Make sure this doesn't.
And we can follow you?
Yeah, come on in.
Okay, great.
So the only main thing that you have to know with alpacas is just that they're prey animals. They can get scared easily. So we just want to be aware and never, approaching them on their butts. We just want to say hi before we pet them. Is the main thing. They like being pet the most on their neck. Our girls do. They'll kind of lean in for a good neck scratch. This is Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
And here's the rest of our girls. Hi, girls.
Oh, they're so sweet.
Alpacas are extremely food motivated. At least ours are. So they're very happy to come say hi to us. This is Alamea. She just turned a year old recently. And she's a sweetheart, so you can pet her anywhere.
On the neck?
Yeah, she loves the cuddles.
Oh, they're so soft.
Super soft. This is Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
These two are half-sisters, Bella and Lola. And they're really sweet. But yeah, they all love the little scratches.
They're like, where's our food?
They're like, excuse me. Yeah. Come on, guys. Here, I'm just going to spread them out a little bit, and I'll pass you some bowls to feed them. All right, scooch over, girls. Come here. Yeah, these guys act like we starve them. They're literally constantly eating. They're grazing animals, right? So they're always munching on something. When it's not the grain, it's hay. When it's not hay, it's grass.
Now, is this one?
This is the baby.
Is this mom?
So this is Anna and Kona, so mom and baby.
Aww.
And she's really sweet. You can go up and pet him if you want. She's not like hyper protective or anything.
Hi,
Let me see.
How old is he?
He's 2 months old.
You're so little.
He's really
is he
curious
okay with
too.
being pet?
Yeah, you can pet him.
Hi. Oh, he's like, nope, didn't care for that.
He's like figuring things out.
Yep.
He hasn't even started really eating the food yet. Here, I'll give you a little bowl. You can feed him. And you can just hold it with one hand and pet them with the other if you'd like.
Well, this one's into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like it. Aww.
Yeah, that's little Lola.
So how many alpaca? Is it alpaca or alpacas?
Alpacas, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Plural. The plurals, yeah.
You want some?
That's Kala. She's our most skittish. We got her when she was already like 5 years old, and she wasn't socialized with people. So she just doesn't really trust us that much.
She's doing pretty good.
And they're bugging about the food. But the other ones, like the ones that were born and raised here, like Alamea and Kona, they're getting so comfortable with us because of all the love and attention we give them, which is really sweet. Hey, girls. Don't be mean. Yeah. But most of our girls are from Arizona. Okay. So extreme heat and extreme cold, right? But they do really well here. They're amazing at regulating their body temperature. And we just shear them before summer hits, kind of around the time everybody does it. So
they've been sheared recently, right?
Fairly recently, around Easter time. Yeah, and we actually have professionals from New York fly out to shear our alpacas.
Wow.
They'll go to like 32 different states. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. And in about a span of 3 months. Yeah.
That's really fascinating. Hi. Are you here when they're doing that process?
Yes. So me and my coworkers, we help out. They do the actual shearing, and then we'll bag all of the fiber as it comes off of them. So when you shear alpacas, it comes in 3 different levels. Level 1 is like their full back. It's called the blanket. It's the longest, nicest part of the fleece. Here, I'll scoop them around a little bit more.
So they finish those two
They're
off.
like, oh my God.
There's like tiny crumbs in it.
Sassy. This is Sassy. She's amazing. Here.
Over here.
They're like, oh my goodness, thank you.
And some more. They're like communicating.
They do. They talk a lot. Most of all this sounds is them not wanting to share their food. So they're kind of annoyed at each other.
Nice.
But most of the time they just hum. So they go, and that's how they chat. Kala here, she's pregnant. So that's why she's like
she's
extra
really
moody.
hungry.
She's like, excuse me, I'm eating for 2.
Aww.
Yeah.
So when do they normally have their babies?
Alpacas, their pregnancy is about 11.5 months long.
Oh.
Yeah, so almost a whole year. And so we have to be really patient when it comes to having babies. But everything with alpacas is kind of about patience too, right? It takes a whole year to shear them, whole year to actually get it back to us as yarn from the mills. But in terms of like when we breed them, alpacas have something called cycle on demand. So you can breed them any time of the year.
Oh.
They just start ovulating when boys are around. It's pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you have a friend.
Hi, little baby. He's a cutie. So you can see the baby, he is a different breed of alpaca. So his fiber type looks different, right?
Yeah.
So he's a Surrey. The Surrey is a fine, thin, silky fiber. And it's actually the original breed of alpaca. They're from lower elevation, so they didn't need the same type of insulation as the wakayas. So these are wakayas, and it's like a super dense, thick, fluffy fiber. And they're from like 11,000 to 16,000 feet of elevation. So a lot higher than Haleakala, where you guys went to, right? So
yes.
they need to be super cozy. Yeah, but these guys are a lot more popular because their fiber has more of a crimp to it. And it doesn't mat as easily as the Surreys. So the Surreys, they have like a fine, thin, silky fiber, and it coils and makes knots. So a lot of mills don't want to deal with the Surrey because they're like, it's already so matted, and then we have to take it all out and clean it all up.
What is the day-to-day care like for the alpacas? You have like a routine?
Yeah, so every single day I come and I mainly first do a head count, make sure everybody's there. But I'm actually the bunny manager, so I go and take care of the rabbits, and then I come down and we just feed everybody. Always make sure that they have a lot of hay available. And then this grain, it's basically a multivitamin. They think it's candy. They go kind of crazy for it. It has like molasses coating or something. Yum. So we just give them a little bit in the morning, or we'll wait for a tour for the girls. But yeah, we have 5 boys on the opposite side of the road over there.
Oh, they're looking over here.
They're
like,
checking us out.
hey.
That's Kalama, aka Kalama Drama. That's what we call him. And then these guys are really low maintenance. Every few days we'll do a full poop scooping, and always just making sure that the water's full and clean. And yeah, we don't have to do a lot. Yeah. We shear them not once a year, and we'll trim their nails and file down their teeth all on the same day. And then every maybe 4 or 5 months we'll trim their nails again. But the more that they are on rocky terrain, the less they need it.
Yeah. They're kind of built for it, it seems like.
Yes, they totally are.
Have you always been like an animal lover? I'm assuming you love animals.
Definitely, absolutely. So yeah, I was born and raised on Maui, and I've been working with animals my whole life. I've done a bunch of horseback riding, I moved cattle, I worked with goats, dog training, any animals I could get my hands on. And my friend was working here before, and she was a lot younger than me and was just getting into high school, and she's like, ugh, I don't want to work at this alpaca farm. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's alpacas on Maui? And you don't want to work with them? Like, what are you talking about? So I stole her job. And I've been here ever since. So that was, like 3.5 years ago. And I love them. But I've met them like once before, super randomly on a homestead in Iowa. Like it was really out of the blue. And I just thought they were hilarious. And the more I learn about them, the more I'm like, these guys are amazing. I call them the best livestock ever. Like, yeah, they're wonderful. That's the boys fighting. boys fighting. Those bad boys. We have 2 youngsters, and they are like, they've been play fighting a lot, but then kind of like thinking it's real as well. And we're like,
that sounds exactly like human boys.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Taking it too far.
Alpacas are honestly so human-like in their behavior sometimes. Girl alpacas, this is one of my favorite things about them, is that they're all instinctually potty trained. I mean, all alpacas are. They pick a spot and they say, this is my bathroom. And they're very typical girls. If one goes, they all go. It's a chain reaction.
Interesting.
And it makes my job as their janitor really easy because they keep it all piled up. But the boys are such typical boys too. And they're kind of, those 2 are kind of mama's boys. They chase me around the pasture and they're like, hey. And the girls are like, ugh, boys, stay away. I don't want to deal with you. That's why we have a whole fence separating them as well. I mean, a whole road, not even just a fence.
Yeah.
Because if the boys see the girls too much, they have good reason for competition. And then they fight each other because they say, oh, these are all my girlfriends. I'm not sharing with you, right? And so they're funny. Yeah, they're silly. All right, over here we have our Angora bunnies. The fluffiest bunnies ever, my babies. I'm the bunny manager, so you can come on in.
Oh, I can go in?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
This is Jasmine.
Can I pet her?
Yes. Feel how soft she is.
Oh my goodness.
She's really curious.
Jasmine.
So she is only 5 months old. She's our baby bunny. She's new to the job. She gets a little antsy, so we'll see how long we keep her here.
Yeah.
But she's an Angora rabbit, right? So these guys are Angoras. They're like the more premium yarn.
Bye-bye.
She's already going. That's fine.
We'll let her do her thing.
We'll let her do her thing. But with these guys, we groom them every 4 months. They grow really big, fluffy coats, and it starts molting naturally. It's like a dog shedding, and it just starts flying everywhere. And then we'll slowly collect it and turn it into yarn. And it's the more premium yarn. It costs like $1 a yard.
Wow.
And the alpacas is more like 50 cents. Yeah, so she is called a Roo. Yes, ruby-eyed white. Look at those ears.
Yeah. She's very sweet.
Yeah, so these guys are a mixture of the English and French breeds of Angoras. And so the queens of England and France were like, wait, the most premium clothing is being made from these bunnies. I obviously need the most premium pet. So they started to breed them for the royalty, and they were in their royal courts. But they bred them not only for their fiber, but for their demeanor, their personalities, because the queens wanted her bunnies to love her.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why they're really sweet, but also because they're very well socialized. But yeah, this is Aurora.
Aw.
She was born here on our farm.
Sweetheart. What does a day look like for a bunny? What do they get up to? Do they like to nap? Do they play?
They nap a lot. So rabbits, they are what is it? I can't remember the exact word right now, but they are most active during the dawn and dusk.
Oh.
And so that's when they'll run around. They do chase each other. They have binkies, which is like, you know how dogs have zoomies?
Yeah.
They will have their rabbit counterpart of that, and they will jump around and chase each other. It's really sweet. And then most of the time they're sleeping.
Aww.
So these guys are always in the foliage, under the benches, because they're such prey animals. They're thinking, oh, I gotta keep myself safe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's no predators on Maui, right?
Yeah.
So they are always watchful, and they dig. They love to dig. So we bring them down here, and they'll make little tunnel systems, and but they probably hate me for it. They dig in moderation at the moment, so they'll make like 3 feet. Then I start closing it up.
Well, you have to close it so they can do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you can't go that far. Sorry, guys. Like, we still need you. But they're only down here for the tours. We have an upper area for them, and that has chicken wire at the bottom, so we don't have to worry about them escaping.
Yeah.
We've had a couple escape artists before, but they get out and they go, wait, my food, my friends. And I actually see them trying to get back in. So they're really smart, and they're one of the first rabbits to be domesticated. So you're never going to find a wild Angora. They need us, and we need them. Yeah, but mostly with all the fur that they have, they can get mats extremely easily. And so we're constantly brushing to maintain it. And mats can get really uncomfortable, can pull on their skin, and you lose fur that could be turned into yarn as well. So lots of maintenance. These guys are really high maintenance, especially compared to the alpacas. Like, they take a lot of work.
So you have to brush them daily, or?
I do like 3 hours a week.
3 hours?
Of like, that's all of our bunnies.
Oh gosh.
That's all of our bunnies combined. I'll just like do an overview and like trim them up, and because I always try to keep their like bellies trimmed too, so that they have short coats, so they're not getting too hot. And yeah, and that can vary, but it's around that. We're brushing a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
It is. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And then how often are you able to get yarn from them? Is it just the hair that brushes off?
So every 4 months, we'll sit down with them and do a full groom.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's a couple different like techniques that we'll do, but sometimes it's just trimming it really closely, or you just slowly brush it and it literally just flies out.
My gosh.
Like she's ready for a full groom, and so we'll just slowly brush it out. And it can take like up to 4 hours. Yeah. But it depends on the bunny. A lot of times we'll just stop and take a bunch of breaks. But they really enjoy it because it's like a literal weight being lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah. A little spa day.
A little spa day. And it's us bonding with them too.
Yeah.
So this is our little fiber production station.
Cool.
Honestly, we only do these for the tours. All of our fiber is sent to a mill to be processed for us because we just have too much of it already.
Yeah.
And we only have 13 alpacas. But when we send it to a mill, it will take like a year and a half to come back to us as yarn.
Wow.
And that's just because so many people are working with alpacas nowadays. They're really popular. They're kind of trending. Homesteading's trending, and for good reason. I totally support. They're amazing. And everybody loves them for a good reason. But yeah, the mills are just really backlogged. So we are either super patient or we're a bit impatient, and we can hand spin some of it here. And that's what I'll show you guys today. But yeah, but this is actually some of Sassy, who you were cuddling with. This is Sassafras.
Oh, nice.
So she's a Wakaya alpaca, right? So Wakaya is the super dense, thick, fluffy fur. And this has been washed and processed a little bit, but it's still pretty raw fiber, right? So this is our first machine. It's called a picker. I call it our torture device, and you'll see why. So
I've never seen a picker that's like a hand picker before.
Yeah, this is just by hand.
Oh, that is very medieval.
Crazy, right? So it's a board with nails on both sides. Super simple, but effective. Okay. So I love to show it off. Obviously, when we send it to the mill, they're not using this, right?
Right.
Giant machinery. It's going to be a lot larger scale, but it is all the same base concept, which is this. So what we'll do is we'll take some of our fiber, we put it on one end, and we take your lid and you put it back over, and you just go back and forth. That's all you do. But what it's doing is every time that there's a knot in the fiber, it's going to get hitched onto the nails. And then it's pulling it apart, lengthening it, taking the knots out. And if there's any debris we missed while washing it, it's going to fall to the bottom of the machine. And that is the same exact thing it's doing on large scale machinery as well. But yeah, this nail is connecting with that nail and pulling it apart.
That's so cool.
And then it will slowly go to the other end, just like that. And it's going to get fluffier and larger and less knotted each time we put it through.
So how many times would you typically do this? Is it a visual?
It's a lot. It's I don't know the exact amount, but it would take days to do a full fleece. I mean, the whole process, it's a long time. Awesome. So this is our next machine. I'll grab this.
I'll say, do I need to put it away?
Yeah.
Blow away.
This is our next machine. It's called a drum carder. And again, they come in a wide variety of different shapes and sizes. And when we send it to the mill, I've seen these like 20 times that size. Crazy. But this is our little hand one. And I love it. It's kind of my favorite part of the fiber production because it's really satisfying. But what we're going to do is we take some of our fiber, and I'm just holding it back so it doesn't all feed into the machine at the same time. But it's going to go onto this top drum here, right? So there's two drums, this large one, which is picking up all the fibers and really blending it together and making it all lay in one direction. And then this smaller drum, which picks up guard hairs, like tiny pieces, ones that might still have knots in it, and what we call level 3. which is like their face and their bellies, where it's so short. They don't really turn it into yarn, but you can do needle felting or other fiber arts crafts. So it will be utilized. So there's a break in the bristles here. We have our fancy little pin. And what we'll do is we'll just pick it all up together. And just peel it off. So now this is called a bat of fiber, or roving is another word for it. It's all blended together. There's no more knots. It's laying in one direction, and it's ready to go onto our spinning wheel.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
And you can feel that it's going to be even softer than when it started.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, now I'm like messing it up. But yes, it's
Okay, you're
okay. I undo all the work that we just did.
And what's nice about the carder is this is where you can blend in other different, fibers. So, if you want to blend it with bamboo or silk or wool, you can add in things and change the color and the texture. And you just keep putting it through again and again until you get the desired look that you want. And then we'll actually put it onto our spinning wheels.
Oh my gosh. So do you spin?
I do spin. Are you ready to see?
Yeah.
Okay. This is our spinning wheel. If you ever think of Sleeping Beauty, Rumpelstiltskin, right? Got our lovely wheel. And so there's two main components. The first one's powering it. So there's a little lever here for my foot. And you want to have a really rhythmic beat with your foot. If you go too fast, your hands won't be able to keep up. But if you go too slow, the machine stops. And a lot of the times it will lose momentum and go backwards on itself. And so let me grab my yarn already. Oh, this is our leading line, the beginning of it. We have a little hook to pull it through. All right. And then these hooks determine where it's going to lay on the bobbin. So I'll put that there. All right. And now the second part is called drafting. So you take your yarn and your roving, and we're going to attach it together. So you find your rhythm, and then the machine's doing all the actual spinning. So the fiber's spinning onto itself. So what I'm doing is I'm thinning it out, kind of pulling it towards myself, watching it spin into yarn, and then pushing it into the machine so it can work on the next section. My main job is just keeping it as consistent as possible. So every time I thin it out, I want to make sure I'm giving it the same amount of fiber as I did the last time. And it's pretty forgiving. If it breaks off, you can attach it right back on. And if there is a funky knot, you can pull it apart as you go.
Wow.
But I definitely wasn't this good when I first started. It's a lot of multitasking. You're thinking about a lot of things at the same time. A lot of hand-eye coordination. But once you do get the hang of it, it becomes really therapeutic. But that's done. Ta-da!
That's so cool.
And now Sassy has been turned into yarn.
You want to try? Give it.
Yeah, I do want to try.
Let me give you a lesson.
Okay, this is scary. I do feel more okay, at least I'm kind of doing a practice run.
So I'm going to have you just start with the foot.
Okay.
And we're just going to find your rhythm.
Get the rhythm.
Holy smokes.
So you can see it already went backwards, right?
Oh.
So you have to keep a good rhythm or else it will... It's okay. There you go.
There you go.
It's a lot harder to push down than I thought it would be. So you started
give it a little push
spinning.
clockwise. And then here's the trick. Let me tell you a trick. Every time...
This is humbling.
Every time it goes up,
right
here is when you'd push back down.
So let it kind of come to me.
Exactly. And then there you go. And then that's perfect.
There you go.
And then you got to do it without looking at it.
Yeah, I know. Trying to. I feel like I can't feel it coming up.
There you go.
I just close my eyes and try it.
You got it.
Okay.
You keep going. Get the rhythm. Get the rhythm. Get the rhythm. Right, you got the rhythm.
So if I just have to do this, it might work.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So now we can.
So now I've got to practice. Oh,
you gotta still think about the rhythm.
What you doing? What you doing?
Okay.
Compose yourself.
I'm ready. I can get a little silly. Okay, I'm ready.
Hand off.
Okay.
Keep the foot going. There you go.
But I broke my
That's
arm.
okay because you know how to. I'm gonna show you how, and you just.
It's gonna attach right now.
Good.
Oh.
Good. It's okay. She's Padma's spotting you.
Keep going. It's a lot to coordinate.
It's a lot. I make it look easy.
You did make it look so easy. But I really appreciate you letting me try this
course. Here, do you want to just try the hands as well?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can sit there.
Oh, well, don't you want to
I'm a pro.
sit? Okay.
I got you.
I feel like this is still something I want to do so badly, even though I'm feeling very, very bad at it right now.
I got so frustrated. And
All right,
Okay, yeah.
you ready?
Oh, I can't do it.
All right, so this is our little store. We work with a bunch of different artists on the island, a bunch of local artists, and there's not just knitting, there's crochet, needle felting, working with the loom, so a bunch of really amazing goodies. This is one of my favorites at the moment. This is the bunnies we were hanging out with today.
Oh my gosh.
So this is 100% hand done here on our farm. So collected, processed, spun, and then knit. And this is Snow White and Rapunzel. So some of our
So
babies
cool.
here, yeah. And it's like a little cowl.
It's
And
beautiful.
yeah.
And then are all of these?
These we work with an artisan in Peru. They have a bunch of fun goodies. We'll just bring them over, and people love to just have a little piece of an alpaca with you, but
That's
they're
so cool.
made from alpaca. So this is the Wakaya breed, and this is the Surrey.
Oh yeah.
So you can see the fiber types, the differences in them, right? And that's really fun too. I say this is like 3 years of growth plus a blow dryer to get them this crazy. Like this is kind of intense. I don't.
They're not
usually
gonna
actually
just
see that.
look like this.
No.
But they're very adorable.
They are adorable.
like this.
Aren't those amazing? I love
Yeah.
this. This is some Angora yarn as well.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the alpacas and the Angoras, they come in about 22 different color variations. And in the US, you hardly see it dyed because we just love the natural colors so much.
Definitely.
But it's really cool. We do have a bunch of yarns from other farms that do dye it, and you get to have so much fun with all the colors as well.
So
But this is some from
beautiful.
our animals. So this
Oh,
is
cool.
this is Lola, Bella, and I think this is Calry.
Does it say on the tag?
Yeah, it says on the tag.
I love it when
Get
it
to
says.
know who's who. So Calry is one of our boys. He's actually the baby's dad.
Aw.
And then Lola and Bella, who we were hanging out with today, the half sisters from Arizona.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So this is the Wakaya and the Surrey there as well.
very nice.
Yeah.
And all in the natural.
All in the natural colors.
Beautiful. This is so
This
cool.
is, I love to show these off. This is needle felted. So you start with just a clump of fur and you slowly poke it into form. One of our amazing friends here on the farm, they create these. So this is kalama, made from kalama, kalama drama. So you can feel that too. But it's
so soft.
just slowly poking it into form,
wow.
creating shape, and then connecting them. It takes forever.
Yeah.
And we have, like, this is Alamea, who we hung out with today. Alamea.
That is so cute.
And one of our bunnies as well.
Oh my gosh.
And that is made from Angora, so it's super soft.
Wow.
Yeah. But that just shows you all the different ways you can be creative.
Yeah.
Aloha, my name is Janet, and I am the owner of Maui Alpaca up here in upcountry Maui. And my husband and I have 8 acres in the area. And we started this journey about 4 years ago, and we knew absolutely nothing about alpacas. And I was only going to get 1. And then I learned you have to get 3 or more. And I was thinking, wow, that's a lot of alpaca, 3. And now we have 13. So you can see how this is going. My husband does not believe me that I'm not getting any more because I keep getting more. And it's just been such a fun journey to learn about them, to learn about the fiber, and also to share that with people. I had a retreat center for many years, which is healing with people, and that's how this all started, was healing with the animals. And so that's what we also like to do. I just feel like animals bring people happiness from young. We have 1-year-olds all the way up to 80-year-olds. And they come and they're smiling the whole time. So that's what I like about it.
So what made you get that first alpaca?
So the first one was actually because Maui County, this is agricultural land, and my retreat center was not ag. So they said, oh, you have to stop your retreats because this is ag property. And that was my way around the county, was to just do meditation with alpaca, yoga with alpaca. But once I learned about the actual alpacas and what they were for the fiber, I switched gears into only doing alpacas, and I stopped the retreat center.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a transition that happened naturally. It wasn't something I thought about. It was just, you know how those things happen in life where one thing leads to the next without you even planning it?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's been a really fun journey, and people like Padma and everybody that works here, we're just a fun family. We like to share our animals, and we do so many fun events and community events, and so it's just been fun to keep adding and growing and learning more and more.
What kinds of events? Well, actually, let's start with what kinds of tours you have, because we did one of your tours today.
So the most popular is the 1-hour farm tour. That's sort of an overview of all the animals. You get to visit the alpacas, visit the Angora bunnies, and then the overview of the spinning and processing. But then we can also add a picnic lunch to that, where you have lunch with the alpacas. And then we do a trekking one where you walk with your alpacas up to the top of the property, and you have snacks and photos. We've had engagements here. We did our first wedding a couple weeks ago at the Four Seasons, where we took our alpacas to the Four Seasons for the reception, and they were dressed as the bride and groom. So that's a new product we just added. And then if somebody really wants to learn a lot more about the fiber and the processing and the spinning wheel, then we have what's called the lifestyle tour. And that's a private tour. It's 2 hours. So if somebody, really wants that hands-on fiber experience, then that's the one that they would do.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You've created such an amazing space here.
Thank you.
So how much property did you say you have?
So we have 8 acres.
Oh, wow.
And we keep adding to the barns and products. We like to do community events. We have a lot of the school kids come. So we'll have groups of the school kids. And we had last year a fiber class that came. And then we do specials for like fundraisers for Maui Humane Society or Maui Food Bank, things like that, community events. I think it's important to give back.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So what's something maybe you're excited about that's coming up like in the next year or so?
Oh, it's always more alpacas. That's going to be, don't let my husband hear that. It's what babies you're going to have and who you're going to breed and who you're going to sell. But it's more expansion of more barns. I'd like to do a fiber room, more of a fiber room, so that we can open it up to more educational type things. Mm-hmm. So if somebody really wants to come and learn more about the fiber and the processing, that's an area that I'd like to expand on. Yeah. But there's some permitting and legal things that we have to go through in order to do that. So that's something that's probably the growth area. And a lot more educational with children. Yeah. I like it when the kids come, because a lot of kids that either they've never been to a farm or they've never really experienced the hands-on animal to the processing. Mm-hmm. And then the product. And so for them to see those parts, I think is kind of the old lost art. So I like the expansion of kid products.
Now, how do you find time to do the spinning and the hand knitting when I know you're managing a farm and a business? You have some amazing people here with you too, right?
I do. I have amazing people that we all work together, but the knitting and the spinning is every single night. And it's a labor of love. I love to spin. I love to knit. And so after I finish the next project, I'm like, okay, what's the next fiber? And what's, so it's, how that is.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, what do I want to do next? And I find that really relaxing. And so it's just something I do every night, that part. The running of the business, that's sometimes challenging because it's also taking care of the property, and then I'm still answering my own phones, and it's the emails, but it all works out.
Yeah.
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 And it's Maui.
Let's say you're in such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you said people come here and they can't help but smile
Yeah.
when they leave, and you experience that every day, which is
And I
so
see some
cool.
farms on the mainland where they have, 5 feet of snow
yeah.
or, they, big storms, and, we get a little wind and rain and we think that's, Maui's pretty easy to have alpacas. The elevation we're at is really helpful for the alpacas, I think.
What are we at here?
We're at 2,300.
Okay.
You can have alpacas in lower elevation. I do think that if you're into the fiber art part of it, it's going to have to be at least this elevation, if not higher. Otherwise, you have to shear your animals 2 or 3 times a year, rather than once a year. And then once you do that, the fiber is just cut, and you can use it for felting, something like that, but not really a good yarn.
Oh, that's interesting. I had never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to shear them 2 or 3 times a year.
Thank you so much for having us here today. It's been really fun to get to go on the tour and to learn everything. And you have such an amazing place here.
Oh, thanks for coming to visit us. I appreciate that.